It is Tuesday morning, September 15th, and we're about 2.5 hours into trading. Hello, traders. We've got kind of a quiet day forming today. We've got the S&P 500 gapping higher, and then we've been stuck in this very, very tight trading range. I believe that for the remainder of the day, we will be dead till the Fed. Tomorrow's the FOMC statement. I believe it's going to be very dovish. The Fed has already stated its intentions to let the inflation rate rise above its 2% target. They're doing everything they can. They want fiscal stimulus. They say that it's time for the government, for politicians to take control right now and to get that stimulus program going. So expect dovish remarks, could fuel another rally in the market. We had that bounce off the 50-day moving average. You can see here yesterday how the market opened up substantially higher. There's that gap up. The entire move for the day took place in the first hour of trading. Boom, 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 off to the races. Then the rest of the day we spent sliding back into the middle of that range. So pretty tough trading environment when you've got these very, very tight little candles and these tiny little moves. We're seeing the same thing today. So it tells me that buyers and sellers are paired off at this level. In that vein, I'm going to show you a bullish trade. I know some of you just like watching these videos for a good trade idea, but then I'm going to continue on the rest of the video and I'm going to do a little bit of an educational piece on looking for stocks using the custom search engine and taking criteria and taking setups and patterns that you're looking for and then being able to use that custom search to define your own searches, save them, and be able to run them on a daily basis. So first of all, let's take a look and let's get some trade ideas out of the way. We've got stocks with relative strength 30 right now. You can see how the market has been drifting a little bit lower, but for the most part, it has been flat. So I knocked through these stocks right here and I saw one that I liked. It is TSM. I like that on a swing trading basis. You can see a very tight compression right in here. You can see the Bollinger Bands. We have a breakout to the upside. You'll also see the 10 squeeze indicator on a green dot. That shows that we've got an upside breakout. The longer and tighter the range, the bigger and more sustained the breakout. I believe that TSM could continue higher. You can see that it's tried to get through this level a couple of times. This looks like it's going to go. The volume's been pretty decent as well. How might you trade this? I was looking at some options that you might be able to sell using the September 18th option expiration. You can see here that 82 was the prior resistance level. That level should hold. If you're looking to sell some very short-term option premium, I like selling the September 18th expiration. That's this Friday, 3.5 days till expiration. I like selling those 82 puts. I like buying the $81 puts. It looks like you can get that spread done for somewhere around 17 cents if the stock gives up half of this long green candle. If it gives up that closing price right there of 83.25, you can see we're currently at 85.40. So if the stock trades below that 83.25 price level, I would stop it out because then it's going to be coming in below that breakout. That was the closing high previously. We want to see that hold. And in fact, we want to see the stock build on that upward momentum. So these will expire Friday. Again, I would sell the 82 puts, buy the 81 puts, do it for a 17-cent credit. It's going to generate a very nice return, somewhere in the probably less than 20% return, but you've only got the trade on for 3.5 days, so I like it. I think this stock in this breakout will continue to move higher. So I'm going to go into the chat room and I'm going to show you a question that was posed to me by one of the members. And here you can see I'm trying to create a custom search for stocks, range bound, less volatility than broader market, mega cap stock. Feel that these stocks have less vulnerability to wide swings in the market, should be relatively safe. And so he's also looking for that stock to have stayed within a certain percentage. Let's go and take a look and see how we might construct a search like that. First of all, on compressions, the way that I like to trade compressions, they're very important. I'm not looking for stocks that are in a compression. I want to look at stocks that were recently in a compression, but now have broken out of that compression. And so TSM would be a great example of one such stock. Pop Bull is one of my favorite swing trading searches. It is fantastic, and this is one of the things that it looks for, and that's why it's such a powerful search. TSM, you can see it at the top of the list. DAL, let's take a quick look at that. You can see how even though it is above that compression, this is a price compression. Even though the stock is drifting higher, it is compressing. Take a look at Intel, and you can see how the Bollinger Bands here had narrowed dramatically, and then now we've got the breakout, and the stock's riding the upper end of that Bollinger Band. It looks ready to get going here. Here's another one, and you can see Intel has been floundering around trying to form a base right here. It's been on the bottom end of that Bollinger Band. Now it's poised to get through the upper end of that Bollinger Band. So I don't like to trade stocks when they're in a compression. I like to trade stocks when they're out of a compression, but that's my personal preference. I'm going to try and find stocks that fit the criteria that I've recently outlined. So we're going to pop up custom search, and I'll go through a couple of the variables that will help us find this type of opportunity. So we'll move custom search into the picture here. First of all, when you're talking about having excellent liquidity and trading mega cap stocks, well, just by nature, these stocks are going to have options on them, and they're going to be liquid options. So we have an option liquidity rating of 2, and the max would be 15. I also would like to have some weekly options because he had mentioned that he wanted to try and sell options that are 2 weeks or less out in time. So we got to make sure that they've got weekly options as well. I'm going to take off some of these criteria that I've already marked, and then we're going to take a look at compression in, not compression out. I can review that a little bit later, and we'll take a look at that. But right now, he's looking for a stock that is in a compression. That means that the average true range is collapsing. It's within its Bollinger Bands. In fact, this 10 squeeze indicator that I've developed, the stock is actually inside of multiple compression bands. So it's really starting to tighten up. Now we can take a look and see what that scan yields, and you're going to see lots of results here. And if I go through the list, you'll be a little bit surprised because some of the stocks are actually moving higher, yet they are in this compression band. That's because they are ticking higher with a very small intraday range. So we can take a look at a couple of them. I don't think this is the search that's going to get the results that this member was looking for. Abbott, you can see, not bad, but it's got some pretty decent movement to it. AVGO, you can also see some pretty decent movement to it. Now, I like these two candidates. They actually look good to me, and these would be good candidates from my perspective. So we're not going to get exactly what we want from this compression in variable, and it is going to be looking for stocks that are staying within that tight compression. So I'm going to unmark that, and we're going to use a different way to find these stocks. We're going to go down to the stock volatility criteria. So this measures the stock's average true range over the course of the last 20 days. And I've got a value of 0, and I'm going to put a value of 2 here. Most stocks have a value of 3, 3.5. If you're looking for really volatile stocks, which also could be a good thing to search for, then you'd be looking for a value of somewhere around 4.5% to 5%. So let's use that criteria and see what we come up with. Now you can see that this list has dwindled dramatically. And so we've got stock volatility between 0 and 2%. We can start taking a look at some of these candidates here, and I'm going to click through them. And you can see a very choppy stock there. CL is another candidate. You can see how it's pretty tight in here, not doing a whole lot of anything. FIT, very tight range. So this may be the type of stock that this member is looking for. Gold, very, very tight compression in here. Not a lot of range, not a lot of movement. J&J, very sideways movement here as well. So if this is the type of stock that you're looking for, now look at this. You can see the average true range is very tight, and that is representative of the tight, tiny little bodies on these candles. So even though the stock has very low intraday volatility, you can see that it is creeping higher. So stocks can move higher and yet have a very compressed trading range. So I also don't think that this is what this member was looking for, because this has an upward bias to it. So even though it's compressing, even though the price action is very orderly, I still don't think it's what they were looking for. So another way that we can achieve this is to start using moving averages. And so I'm going to remove that stock volatility criteria, and we're going to start looking at stocks where the stock is greater than the 100-day moving average. That will give it a slightly upward bias, but it is below the 200-day moving average. So it's kind of trapped within that range. And so that would mean that on a longer term basis, the stock had been kind of floating down, but on a shorter term basis, the stock is starting to move higher. Let's run that search and let's see what we get. Here we've also got a number of candidates that we can take a look at. We should be able to narrow these search results down a little bit. So let's see if we can also add perhaps a compression in here on a medium term basis, see if that helps. Okay. Now we've got 4 stocks that we'll be taking a look at. And let's see if this accomplishes what we want. That's more along the lines of what I believe this member was looking for. A very flat type of pattern here. That's LVS. This is letter M. TSN. That's how you would accomplish that search. So when you're looking for certain stocks, it's important to think about what all of these variables and what these indicators actually do and what they look for. And if you can picture what that perfect stock pattern is, then you'll be able to understand which of these variables you would use to find that particular stock. And you can save this search, and then you can use it for future reference, and then just keep using it every day, flipping through charts, looking for these stocks. All of these variables are described in detail in the Option Stalker manual. So now that I've done that, let me tell you why I don't like this particular approach. Now, if you've got stocks like this that are super, super tight, number one, they have not rallied with the market, so that tells me that there's not a lot of interest in the stock, and they are actually laggards because we have a market that is making new all-time highs or pretty close to it. So there's something wrong with this company, and there's a reason that it's not moving higher, because the rest of the market is moving higher. The other issue that I have with these is that they haven't broken out of that compression. They're still in it. So that tells me that they could break out to the upside or they could break out to the downside. If I'm selling out of the money bullish put spreads, I don't want to have that risk of a downside breakout. The final problem that I have with these is that because they have been trapped in such a tight range for such a long period of time, the option implied volatilities are going to be minuscule. They're tiny. Risk and reward goes hand in hand. So when you have tiny premiums, you're selling very, very close to the money, and you might even have to sell in this range right here just to get a decent credit. One little blip in the stock, and you are in trouble. So let's take a look at an example like TSM, or let's find other stocks that have really decent upward momentum and a nice breakout. NIO is a stock that I've been watching that's been really nice. Now, in this particular instance, you've got a breakout here. You had a retest of that breakout, and the stock has been moving higher, and it has relative strength. The reason that I would prefer to sell out of the money premium on a stock like this is that it has really good option implied volatility. I'm able to capitalize on that upward momentum, and that upward momentum should continue. So I'm able to take advantage of the higher option implied volatility, distance myself from the action on the notion that this is going to continue higher. So I'm using these out of the money bullish put spreads in more of a directional fashion. So let's go back to one other thing that I wanted to show you, and then we'll call it a day. if I'm using these searches and I'm looking for these compression breakouts, we have that variable that we can use. So let's go in and let's use compression out bullish. So there's a compression out bearish and a compression out bullish. Bearish would mean that it broke out to the downside. So if I'm looking for bearish trades, I'd mark that. I'm looking for stocks that have broken out to the upside because I want to sell out of the money bullish put spreads. I'm going to unmark these boxes right here, and I'm going to run a scan. You're going to see an awful lot of search results here. I need to narrow those. The idea is always to cast a wide net and then to draw it in. So let's put up heavy volume. I always like heavy volume. And if I've got a heavy volume breakout, so this is heavy volume today, that may help me narrow down some of these stocks. Well, look at that. Now we have maybe a couple dozen stocks to knock through. Let's see if we can put a stock greater than prior day high. That would also be nice on a quiet day. All right, now we're talking. Let's go in and take a look at these and see what we've got. Adobe, I know, is going to be announcing earnings after the close today, so we can knock that one right out. And we'll go in and take a look at CLVS. Nice breakout through this downward sloping trend line. You can see the compression right here. So this is where the squeeze was on. And you can see this green dot right here. This is when you would have wanted to try and catch the stock, is right early in that breakout right here. And look at how that move fueled higher out of that very, very tight compression. So would have been nice, would have liked to have caught that earlier. Let's see if we can catch one of those green dots today. Ha ha! There's one right there. CMCSA. So you got a very tight compression here and a horizontal breakout. Yeah, I think CMCSA would go. That's how I like to use these search variables. Here's another one, but you can see this was 2 days ago we started getting these green dots right in here. Well, that's where you wanted to be long. Look at how nice those entry points would be. So if the only variables that I were using for my searches, and we'll go through some more of these and we'll find some more good stocks, only variables I used: stock higher than prior day high, compression out bullish on a daily basis, has weekly options, has excellent option liquidity, and has heavy volume today. Boom, boom, boom. Compression, breakout on big volume, above the prior day's high, weekly options. Now we're cooking. So let's go into CSX, take a look at that. You can see the compression, you can see the breakout. CZR, look at that one. That's nice. Yesterday was the day to catch this baby right in there on that breakout. I did trade it yesterday. Nice horizontal breakout there. It's got excellent upward momentum. DAL, I'm not crazy about the airline stocks, but that is a nice compression and a nice breakout. GM, still needs to get through that horizontal resistance level. NVAX, nothing going there that really interests me. Penn was a nice one. Been trading that today. There's your compression. There's your green dot about 2 days ago. Right in there. That was a beauty. And I have been long Penn as well. I think I've had that one in a couple of my videos. Roku still has some work to do to try and get through this resistance level. And you can see those green dots. The compression breakout was way back in here. So once it broke out, you had very, very nice follow through the next day, which was right there, was your compression breakout. You had decent follow through, good day trading opportunity there. There's a nice breakout right there. You can see that one happened, I believe, 2 days ago on that bar right there. Nice follow through. That's what we're talking about. Only a couple more to get through here. Tesla doesn't have a green dot. It actually broke through the lower end of the Bollinger Band, so it had a red dot and actually reversed off of that support right there. Tesla really got whacked when it did not get included in the S&P 500. In fact, there have been some people that have told me that a lot of people got assigned on Tesla out of the money options. Perhaps I'll do a video on that another time. Very unusual situation, but that was Friday after the close when the options were expiring and when it was known, or at least leaked, that Tesla would not be in the S&P 500. Unusual to be exercised or assigned, I should say, on out of the money options. TSN, trying to get through this horizontal breakout here, and Z. Got that green dot right in here. I like Z today. I've been trading Z today. I've made really good money on Z today. Let's take a look at that 5-minute chart. I'll add that one to the list as well today. Look at that beautiful strength all day. Market flat to lower. Stock boom, boom, boom. Higher coming out of this compression right in here. Look at how tight these Bollinger Bands had gotten right up in here. Whoosh, right through and gone. So that's how we use compressions. That's how we search for compressions. I hope that this bit of education will help you construct some of your own searches in Option Stalker. Thanks so much, everyone. We'll see you tomorrow. Thank you for watching this YouTube video. I'm Pete Stolzers, and I'm going to keep the trade ideas coming along with lots of education, so make sure to subscribe to the channel and please turn on your notifications so that you never miss another trade. If you like the content, please give it a thumbs up. I've loaded 2 other videos that I think you're really going to enjoy. Stay tuned. We'll see you soon.